let's talk real quick. We may have to wrap up with this topic, and I want to get your take on it. I would be lying if I said I understood everything that did go on with this, but I was watching it the other day. This started to come down. I think it was Monday evening, or maybe yesterday. I forget which day it was, but so some new. What do you got there? Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Some news with pDAI. So the pDAI and PUSDC. So for those of you that are new here, probably no one, the stablecoin copies of DAI and USDC that are on PulseChain. We're seeing all this pDAI minted out of nowhere, and basically a stronger liquidity bond between pDAI and PUSDC here. And a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, pDAI is rugging," because it went down 20% in like an hour, which, I mean, happens to a lot of coins, honestly. But it was so funny because on Twitter, you were either seeing people that were scrambling, saying like, "See, here it is, it's a scam, this is it, pDAI is rugging," and then at the exact same time, like, the master plan is coming together, the Maker protocol, and all this shit, and trying to parse through all that. And usually nobody is right if they're on either extreme. But can you kind of fill us in on what you feel like happened here, Ewok? What is happening with pDAI? And you're a really interesting guy to get a perspective on this, because you're somebody who, like, didn't buy into this for the longest time, even when the stuff of like Maria, the dev, surfaced and everything, until I don't know whose video or what research you finally did to see like how some of the addresses were tracked back to where they were. But there's a lot of stuff behind pDAI, regardless of if there's teeth to it or it's just a meme. There's definitely things going on here, and we saw some developments with it the other day. So what do you make of this? Could there be actual yield farms coming for this somewhere? What do you make of this whole thing?
Well, as far as let's back up. Let's look at this comment here from pDAI Maxi, 9 Iron Capital. It says, just like that, the arb between PUSDC and pDAI is closed. You can see that there's been billions of PUSDC added to the Maker vault. Now, that is kind of how Maker works, right? As you offer it up collateral, tokens get minted. It says, to be clear, there is no free way to mint pDAI. It isn't possible anymore since RH took control of the governance system, which we think RH took control, but everything's kind of pointed in that direction. Locked the voting system, updated the pricing oracles. It's all on chain, which it is. And this is one of the reasons why what we talked about last week, PLUSD, none of those updates were done with that contract. And that's why the oracle was all screwed up and everything like that. That's why free tokens of that were minted out of thin air and just dumped. So that's kind of what happened there. It says the only way to mint pDAI was to add collateral that had been approved by the Maker governance system into the vaults. And according to these guys, that's what happened the other day. The pDAI sold down, the USDC, the PUSDC went up to try and create a 1-to-1 ratio with those tokens. So this offers up either way. Go follow or check out 9 Iron Capital's post on this, because there's a lot of interesting stuff here. But I think that's really what it boils down to, was trying to set parity between the two so that liquidity between them would keep the arbitrage very, very close, right? If you're going to try and peg one, you probably want to peg both of them. As far as Tether goes, I'm not sure why that one wasn't included, but maybe it's not a collateralized thing or part of the governance system, whatever it is. I don't know too much about it on the back end like that, but I also don't know, and I don't believe that this Dev Maria or whatever has a whole lot to do with it. If the addresses that are being looked up, those belong to the OA, those are the ones that locked it. I really don't think Maria has anything to do with it, other than create a whole bunch of tokens that are tied in with it together. But either way, that's why the dump happened that we saw, and the pump on the USDC went way up as well. So they evened out. As far as creating a farm, I don't know that you would want to do it quite yet. Um, I, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that goes. Whether you need to purchase a whole bunch of it to get it up there. Obviously, that's not something you want to do. Only because, again, there are so many people holding very, very, very large bags of this um, that could just dump. So, why would you inject a whole bunch of capital into trying to pump something up that you know people are going to exit out on you? It would have to be done strategically and over time rather than just all at once. So I think you're going to see some pumps. You're going to see some pullbacks. You're going to see it happen very, very slowly. I don't think this is going to be a instantaneous. Okay, we're now at 10 cents. We're now at 20 cents. We're 30 cents. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to climb like that. I think it's going to take some time. And I think once it does start to happen, you'll see more and more people getting on board, probably buying it up naturally. So that's my take. I really think it was more so people not exiting or getting out, but evening the price between the PUSDC and the pDAI out together so that there is some parity there, so that there can be a farming opportunity between the two to lock them. And it would also create another stable pool type situation where people can enter it, lock it up, which eliminates the selling. Not only that, it bonds them. So a lot of good things. That just, again, this is my opinion of what's happening and how it's playing out. But there you go.
Well, it's definitely, I think, good to see. I mean, it's good to see more development happening with this. And I think we're going to see more as the bull market goes on. I mean, next year could just be absolutely crazy. And there's a lot of people out there. We were talking the other night about Coexistent Steven, who his channel is pretty interesting. He has a lot of stuff about pDAI and some of the inner workings if you want to go somewhere to really see the depths of everything that does go on behind the scenes with pDAI. So I think it's very interesting. Obviously, hold some, and am looking forward to what else is to come for sure. And it could be, I saw somebody say in the chat a little bit ago, I mean, it really could be a key to a lot of things that happen on PulseChain, which is so weird. I mean, not something many people would have expected. I mean, you literally couldn't even really dream it up until it started to happen. So we'll see. We'll continue to watch it, and who knows if the pegging is real? Will it ever peg? Will it ever get to $1? I'm not even really as interested in that. I'm just more interested to see where this whole journey goes, because it's obviously going somewhere. It seems like. So
yeah, for sure. I think it's gonna be fun to watch. Again, there's still believers and non-believers, and that's fine. But after seeing what the things we've seen by the OA, I think it's going back watching some of the older videos. How Richard always said, I've got some ideas, I've got some things up my sleeve, and maybe this is one of them. Maybe this is a play to make this happen. Where he's always said it would be really nice if USDC would just validate their tokens on my chain, but I don't think they'll do it. He said, I don't think they'll do it. So, this was his way around that, where they can't invalidate them, especially now that they're a different contract. So it should be interesting.
And to answer Chris A's question here, I mean, this is kind of a matter of opinion, I think. But he said wrapped DAI on PulseChain is the best stable on PulseChain, right? So I'm assuming you just mean if you bridge over to PulseChain, just to use DAI as the stable coin to then DCA. I mean, I think unequivocally, yes. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to use it. I think like security wise and trust wise, DAI is the best option always, really, for a stable coin.
Now that the stability pools have been created on PulseX, it doesn't really matter. There for the longest time, DAI was the best one because it did have the most liquidity between the pairs. But at this point, because of that stability pool that was created on PulseX, it doesn't matter because pTAI and the other aggregators will route through that to find you the best the best ratio, the best liquidity that's available. So just a heads
True.
up, it doesn't matter as much as it used to.
True. I think also just in a general aspect, though, I mean, DAI hasn't depegged before either, So, I mean, I understand the question's more about like PulseChain, but as far as like favorite stable coin to use just in general in crypto, I mean, for me, it would definitely be DAI if I was like just onboarding into stuff. You don't have to necessarily do it. I've used USDC plenty of times to bridge over and stuff, but Ewok brings up a good point too, with those stable pools and everything now too. So very good for sure.